I was born and raised in this area, and I was blessed to grow up in a family of Christians, and so spent my childhood in Sunday school and vacation Bible school, and really that was foundational to my Christian walk for sure. In my high school years and my college years, sadly just kind of drifted away from the church. But by the grace of God, I never stopped praying, and I believe I always had a heart for God, and my prayers really were answered in three critical ways. One, He connected me with my lovely wife, Linda, of 31 years. She's always had a rock-solid faith since she was a young child, and it was really through her that Christ brought me back to the church, and we're wonderfully yoked. Secondly, I had one of those moments about 17 years ago where life was kind of crumbling around me, and I got on my knees and said, Lord, I just can't do this anymore. And I gave my life to Christ at that point. I said, you got to take me. And that was really the moment my life changed dramatically. And finally, he led our family to fellowship, and that just started a much deeper thirst for the Word and built up our family's knowledge of the Word, and really truly in terms of the way our family interacts with each other, with people of the church, with people of the kingdom. Huge game changer. And my goal now is just to try to love Christ, love my family, and love others more every day, and serve this church however I can.
I was raised here in Chagrin Falls and attended Federated Church down the street. My mom was very active in the church and grew up in a Christian home. She was a Stevens minister, so it was pretty prevalent. And so up till my middle school, high school years or so, I started to fade a little bit from that and kind of strayed away from the church a little bit. And I would say for probably about 10 years or so, I stayed away from the church, but God did not stay away from me. He kept speaking to me and telling me He wanted me to be more involved with Him and what was going on. And I started attending a church in Shaker Heights, which is where I was living. And at the time I was dating this beautiful woman by the name of Christine, who now happens to be my wife, and we were attending church together and got married through that church and started serving and started doing some things with children. And I had a couple experiences with children that just changed me forever about what I thought God wanted me to do, and was speaking directly to me that I needed to be more involved to do His work, to share it with His children. And that changed my life completely about doing that type of thing, and that I needed to continue to do His work, to share His will to the children of the world. And that's really how I got convicted to be all the way in to live for Christ. And that's more or less how I got convicted again. I was already kind of there, but and then we came out here to fellowship, and we moved from Shaker Heights in, I can't remember what year, but anyways, when we did, my wife and I started attending here at fellowship, and the reason we started attending fellowship was first and foremost, we had 2 children at the time, and they felt very welcomed and had a wonderful experience here. And if your kids are happy, then you want to be attending that church, which is what we wanted, and it was also fulfilling to us. My wife and I got baptized together here at this church and continue our walk in our faith, and continue to be fed, both of us individually and as a couple. And that's very exciting to us about fellowship and why we're here and why we call this our church home.
First, I have to share kind of why we came here. We came here from a mainline church, and because of the Bible teaching. But it was, kind of freaked us out at the beginning, because people are toting Bibles and raising their hands, and Pastor Jamie's yelling at us. But just the word that we were being fed, we learned more in 15 months than we had in the previous 15 years at our other church. So, how are we ever going to leave after that? So we have stayed because we just continue to be fed by the Word, and we love that. We've developed so many fantastic friendships and just people that we love at this church and continue to meet and grow with. And third, we're appreciative that the church has a heart for mission, just not for missionaries around the world, but also for people right here in this community, because there's a lot of broken families and people that are needy right in Geauga County, and that's where my family's heart really is for service, and that's a huge part of why we're here.
I'm very excited about what's happening and the people that are here at this point. I think the preaching team is fabulous, and I think the staff that's in place are poised and ready for the next quantum leap of growth and discipleship. I'm very fired up about where we're going and what we're doing and reaching out into the community. And I think it would be exciting, and hopefully it's God's will for us to be the church in the Chagrin Falls community valley area. Jesus was quite clear. He said to let the children come to me, do not hinder them any way. I hope that we could be that church, that the kids want to come, that people want to come, that his children want to come to this church. That's very exciting to me. I think we're at a very great place to take off and really take a quantum leap as far as that goes here.